Hello, welcome back. In this lesson, I will introduce you to one of the most important frameworks in cybersecurity and explain how it connects to real incidents. We are going to break down the CIA Triad, which is a foundational security model used across the cybersecurity field. And this part will be explained in simple terms and in a way that connects word examples so that the concept feels practical and not abstract. Let's get into it. So what is the CIA Triad? The CIA Triad is a simple model used to define the core goals of security. It is a foundational security model in cybersecurity. It also guides how security decisions are made. It explains why specific security controls exist, and it applies to systems, data, and people. So, what does CIA stands for? The CIA Triad is built on three core principles that work together. The first one is confidentiality, and that is the C. Confidentiality focuses on keeping information private. The next one is integrity, and this focuses on keeping data accurate and trustworthy. The third one is availability, which is the A, and availability focuses on keeping systems accessible when needed, and these should be accessible to just legitimate users. And all these three, that is the CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability, must work together for security to be effective. So why is CIA triad important? Most cybersecurity problems can be explained using this model. So we can say most security incidents break one or more parts of the CIA triad, and it helps security teams to identify what went wrong. Also, it helps them to prioritize what needs protection first, and it is used across industries and cybersecurity roles. So now let's pick them one after the other. Let's start with confidentiality. What is confidentiality? Confidentiality is about controlling who can see what. It is about controlling who can see information. So it means keeping information private and only authorized users should access the sensitive data. Also, it prevents unauthorized disclosure of information. And lastly, it focuses on access control and secrecy. Now, what are the examples of confidentiality? I've said it that confidentiality protects information that should not be exposed. So, what are the examples? We can have passwords and personal data that must remain private. Another one is medical and financial records that must require strict protection. The third one is company secrets and internal emails that must stay confidential. And to ensure that all these are possible, that is, to ensure that passwords and personal data are remain private, medical and financial records are protected strictly, company secrets and internal emails remain confidential, we must look at what is called encrypted communication because encrypted communication protects data while it moves. So it is very, very important to confidentiality. So when can we say confidentiality has failed? Confidentiality fails when private information becomes exposed because that's the essence of confidentiality. Nobody should say this. If someone is not saying it, then we can say confidentiality has failed. Also, it has failed when data breaches reveal sensitive information. It has failed when leaked passwords allow unauthorized access. Confidentiality has as well failed when exposed customer data damages trust. Lastly, when privacy violations affect individuals and organizations. Now that we are done with confidentiality, let's move to integrity. Integrity ensures data remains correct and reliable. That means that data must be accurate and trusted, information must not be altered improperly, this must be authorized, and the focus of integrity is on correctness and consistency. Now, let us look at the examples of integrity. We've said that integrity protects accuracy across systems. So, what are the examples? We can say when we see that our bank balances are stayed correct, like if they are correct, then that means that is integrity. Not that I checked my bank account balance in the morning and I'm seeing, let's say, $10, and in the evening I'm seeing $0 without performing any transaction. That is lack of integrity. So, when bank balances stay correct, that is integrity. Also, when transactions must not be altered or when transactions are not altered, that is integrity. Also, when we have software updates that are not tampered with, and also when system logs are reflecting real events and they are not tampered with, that is integrity. Now, when can we say integrity has failed? Integrity failures lead to misinformation and fraud. So we can say when financial records are modified, yes, at that point in time, we can say integrity has failed. When databases are tampered with, when malware has altered system files, and when false or misleading data breaks trust. When all this happen, integrity fails. The next one we'll consider is availability. So what is availability? Availability ensures systems work when people need them. So we can see availability is when systems and data are accessible on time. And availability focuses on uptime and reliability. It also prevents service disruption. And lastly, it is critical for essential systems because system must be available for legitimate users to use. So what are the examples of availability? Availability supports everyday digital services. So some examples are websites that must stay online, bank applications that should work when needed, hospital systems that must always be accessible when needed, and also email and communication services that must remain available. These are examples of availability. So when can we say availability has failed? Availability fails when systems cannot be accessed, when we have denial of service attacks that overwhelm systems, also when outages stop normal operations, when we have ransomware that locked users out, or when infrastructure failures disrupt services or disrupt operations or day-to-day activities of a business. At that point, availability has failed. So now let us try to do some real incident mapping to CIA. We want to map real incidents to confidentiality, integrity, and availability. The truth is, real attacks often impact more than one security goal. So for confidentiality, we can have data breaches. Yeah, data breaches break confidentiality. Also, data tampering breaks integrity, and system downtime breaks availability. And many attacks affect multiple areas at once. So let's consider CIA Triad in everyday life. The CIA Triad applies to daily digital behavior. So when you are locking your phone, that protects confidentiality. When you are seeing the current account balance, that means integrity is there. When you have a reliable internet access, that is availability. And to add to this, we must all develop simple habits to protect all the three. That is to protect the CIA, which is the confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So let's take a summary of what we've learned so far. The CIA Triad model forms the foundation of many cybersecurity decisions. We've seen that. Also, the CIA Triad is a core security model, and every attack affects confidentiality, integrity, or availability. Also, we've learned that security controls exist to protect these principles. And lastly, you are going to see this model throughout cybersecurity. You're going to see it throughout this course. So it is not something you must joke. So let's test ourselves. Here is a brain teaser. The question is, what best explains the purpose of the CIA triad in cybersecurity? You can pause your video, read the options, pick an answer in your mind, and play the video. Now, what's your answer? The correct answer is C, which is it is a foundational model that explains how confidentiality, integrity, and availability guide security decisions and help understand security incidents. That's all for this lesson, and see you in the next one.